Assalamu Alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the second podcast of the Cambridge University Islamic Society podcast. Today, I'm joined by two legends of Access work within our ISoc. So would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Who wants to go first? Go on, go for it.
I think Zainab, you should go first. You're the real legend, so you should go first.
I'm not even part of ISoc anymore, though. Fair enough.
Nah,
Okay. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Zainab. I graduated from Cambridge this summer. I studied PBS, or Psychological Behavioural Sciences, at Newnham College, and I was the Access officer from 2018 to 2020. So it's two terms.
And yourself, Sulaiman?
Salamu Alaikum, everyone. My name is Sulaiman. Study history at Jesus College in my final year. I was the events officer at for ISoc last year, alhamdulillah. And yeah, I'm here mainly going to be speaking about Team Upside today, which is a community organization I founded in 2019.
Yeah, so I was just about to say that Sulaiman is the founder and director of Team Upside, which is like a student-led social mobility initiative. And as he said, they've been active for a few years. They've done some really good work over the past few years. So, do you want to tell us what you guys have been up to or what you guys are planning? Tell us a bit more about Team Upside.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So Team Upside is like Rahat said, it's a community organization focused on social mobility. It's designed to plug the information gaps and the opportunity gaps and even the mentorship gaps that exist in society today, in order to kind of help as many young people as possible achieve their full potential. And I started Team Upside in August 2019, mainly because I grew up in an area that where there were so many young people with enormous amounts of potential, but like they just lacked the guidance, they lacked the information, they lacked the opportunities to really realize and achieve that potential. And I was so lucky because I went to a relatively good school outside of my area. And I was able to access certain opportunities. I was able to access certain mentors. And I just remember coming home every day after school, realizing that I had a very different experience to my friends. And that kind of inequality, I saw it play out in front of my eyes. And it was a source of injustice that really, it just resonated with me at a very young age. And I wanted to do something about it. So yeah, eventually over time, long story short, I've been alhamdulillah, Team Upside has grown into a committee. So we have a committee of 5 people, Amari, Hafsa, Hassan, Ethel, and myself. And all of us as a committee, we organize projects. We organize different initiatives designed to achieve our aims and objectives. And we have a huge number of volunteers that kind of help us execute all of our projects. And I'll just quickly say one last thing about what we actually do at Team Upside. We have 4 main services. Our first service is a one-on-one help desk service where young people can email us with their academic or career-related challenges, and we will email them back with some guidance within 48 hours. And we can even potentially have a phone call consultation with them, just talking out the problem with them and helping them find solutions to their problems. So that's number 1. Number 2, we have a weekly newsletter where we share opportunities, we share articles, we share podcasts that can educate them and just increase their access to different sources of knowledge. And then the third thing we do is we do a lot of digital content. We have a podcast, we did a virtual book club over the summer, we did an inspiration from history season. So that's the digital stuff. The 4th final thing we do is we call it frontline projects. So we've started to go into schools. We started off the entire organization doing drop-in clinic sessions where we would meet young people face to face. But obviously because of COVID, that's been very difficult in recent times. So we've mainly been focusing on digital content. But yeah, I've spoken far too much, but like that's all of the stuff that we do.
I know. I've been, of course, I follow your social media on Team Outside. Like the marketing strategy, you know, the content you guys produce is serious stuff, man. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Shout out Hassan Raja. He's a very, very talented marketing director.
Yeah, definitely. Like the edits and that, then photography is really good. You guys have also been like, you partnered up with Ealing Council, right?
Yes. In March of 2020, I believe, we became like a youth trustee. So we were just recognized by the local council for our work, and they've provided kind of financial support, and they've just helped us publicize our projects and just reach even more people. So yeah, and we were given an award as well for our efforts. So yeah, man, yeah, that's part of the journey.
That's so good.
Yeah, it's really,
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
How you found the so like the whole, you talked about how you moved to virtual with COVID. Do you think that that's helped you reach more people, or do you think you missed that kind of one-to-one interaction that you had with students?
It's a really interesting question, and it's like it's so difficult to ascertain impact, like especially when you're using the digital kind of platform. It's so difficult to know if you're really making a difference. Like you see the numbers, you see the likes, you see the shares, but it's not the same as when you're actually meeting a young person and you see the smile on their face, or you see when they finally understand a problem, or that they're proud of like a decision that they've made. I'm always a big advocate for like in-person stuff. Like that's ideally what we would be doing right now, but we've just had to adapt to the to the circumstances. So yeah, I don't think I've answered your question, but like it's just been something we've had to do essentially.
Yeah, no, you definitely answered the question. So and I guess there are positives to it in that even though you're not having like quality, I guess the quality of it suffers, but I guess you have more quantity, so you can reach like people all over, like Instagram, Facebook, and not just like in London. I guess you've had like reach from other people too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you could reach across the entire country, even maybe across the world, even, because I remember the Access conference that the ISoc had like a month ago. A large proportion of our signups were from abroad. So I guess in that like online stuff, there are benefits as well. So definitely Team Upside can capitalize on that. So I'm sure you guys are already scheming how to get in on that. But Zainab as well is no stranger to Access work, hence why she's here. As you mentioned, she's our former Access officer, and I just wanted to ask, because I've only been here for a year. I'm just going into my second year, and of course, before that, there has been Access work done. So I was thinking, why don't you tell us more about what the ISoc has done? You know, how these Access sort of schemes started within the ISoc, etc., etc.
Yeah, so when I joined, I think it was March of my first year. So like ISoc was already doing like great stuff. We had like a mentoring scheme. It was online via email. We had like an annual Access Day, which happened at the end of Lent. But I think when I came into it, I'd had some experience with like the societies and charities. So I worked with Project Access, which is it's an international mentoring charity. And I also worked with Cambridge BME campaign. So I think I had experience from other groups, and I thought I could bring that to ISoc and try and even increase our reach even further, because the annual Access Day, because of funding, we got funding from sponsors, it was quite limited in what we could do. So the only thing I think I really did change up was just try and go central with like try and get ISoc to make connections with different parts of the uni and colleges. And because that, so we did the first interview workshop in, when was it? It was second year, around November time. So it had been about this time 2 years ago that we had our very first interview workshop. And Newnham basically paid for that. We didn't have to pay for it. And I think getting a college to offer the financial support, offer venue, offer lunch, and offer things like that, it kind of took a lot of the responsibility of ISO. We could just focus on like attracting as many attendees as possible, working on the workshops and things like that. And then we did the exact same for the conference. So we went central again for the funding from the admissions office, and as well as providing like $6,000 worth of money, with the funding, sorry, they also offered a lot of support, and kind of we got Cameron Eunice from Downing College, who's admissions tutor. So I think making those connections with different parts of the university and just relying on them actually made us do less work, but also have bigger impact almost, because we could reach more people. We had the power of the university behind us. They put their official stamp on it. We weren't like advertising their social media, and ISoc hadn't had that before because we were just like a little society. So apart from that, I think that's the only thing that I really did change up, and I was honestly so glad to see like ISoc come through, the brothers and sisters volunteers. They were just like we always had so many people wanting to volunteer for events that we had to like at one point just stop recruiting people. And at first we didn't even pay them, so we didn't even get paid until the second year, and people were just willing to do this for free. Maybe it was a free lunch, I don't know where it was, but people were just willing and really, really happy to help out. And I think that was such a nice thing for like ISoc to come together and support everyone.
Yeah, I've seen the pictures from the conference in Manchester, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in Manchester.
I was going to touch on that. Like Manchester, of course, is in the north, if my correct. And of course, you know, there's a big north-south divide, as we all know. I think according to the Department of Education in 2018, just reading a stat here, 10% of kids got free school meals in the southeast rather, compared to nearly 20, so like double in northeast. With yourself, like from the north, you're from Bradford, right? Yeah. So, like, do you think these access campaigns, like the ISoc holds, the uni holds, do you think they've been effective in, you know, the north, coming from your sort of background?
Yeah, I think it's definitely changed. I think before, this is the reason why I think I wanted to go into access work and kind of focus on that, because I think previously there wasn't much. Like, so Cambridge works on the SLO system, which you might know about. But basically every area in the UK has like a link to a college and an SLO. And it's really heavily proportionalized to London. So I think every borough in London has a college. I think that's how it works. But like Scotland, the entire country just has one college, right? So the disparity, like geographically, is huge. And as one person, as one college, you are limited in what you can offer the schools in your area. So the people who are in Scotland, where there's like 100,000 schools, they can only offer a certain amount of support. Whereas in London, I feel like it was a lot more concentrated. And this is all stuff that I wrote in the report to try and get the funding for the Manchester conference, that the way that Cambridge works automatically puts northern students and students from like rural, more peripheral areas at a disadvantage. And I definitely noticed it myself, like coming through the education system in Bradford. Like, alhamdulillah, I wasn't on free school meals. Like, money wasn't really a problem for me, it was fine. But I did go to a state comprehensive that wasn't very good. Like, I think in Bradford you have the private school and then you have everything else, and those schools are just very underfunded. It was just kind of getting the kids through their GCSEs, and at school I genuinely thought I wasn't even going to get into sixth form, because that's the way my school kind of approached it. Like, you need to get 5 A's to C's and that's it. We're not thinking of anything else. You just need to get through that. So Oxbridge was never like on the radar. It's not for, even now I talk to students from schools and they're like, Oxbridge, isn't that like Harvard, like in America, like really far away? Like, that's how they think of it, like a really far away concept. And I think that's what I wanted to branch out and kind of solve really with the access work, is try and change that stereotype and try and make it more realistic. Because like Sulaiman was saying, I think he had a similar experience, that even though he went to a good school, he saw the students who didn't from his local area, and they had so much potential. Like, I know for a fact I wasn't the smartest kid in my class or the smartest kid in my school, but I was lucky because I had mentoring opportunities outside of school, and they didn't have that. And I feel like students just fall through the system because that support isn't there. So again, very similar to my story, that I just wanted to do something. And I do think these campaigns have worked, because as I've gone through uni, from not knowing anyone from Bradford in first year, and then in second year I met a few people, and in third year I met like more. I remember at like a ISoc event, my friend Miski, she said, "Oh my gosh, Zainab, there's someone from Yorkshire here." And I just like ran over, and they go, "Oh my god, you're from Yorkshire too," and we just gave each other a hug. And I was like, I don't know you at all, we don't know anything about each other, but that kind of connection, it was just so nice, that you just instantly kind of connect with someone just because you're a minority within a minority, I guess, in a way. So yeah, there's been positives to it, but I do think it has been working, and I do look forward to seeing like more Northern students at Cambridge diversifying the accents.
Yeah, that's true. Well, as you said, it is working, and I think a large part of it working is a lot more students nowadays are getting into access work. You're getting these initiatives like Team Upside popping up and being successful, like Team Upside. But then you also see that there are some people who are a bit more apprehensive to get into access work, perhaps because they might not come from a access background themselves. So what would you guys say, being like team leaders in access work? What would you guys say to people who are a bit nervous and a bit like scared to go into access work, but they do want to, get into it? What would you guys say?
What I would say to the people from relatively privileged backgrounds or what like advantaged backgrounds, I'd say, I mean, it's kind of a deep point, but like in terms of when I felt the most happiest or the most content in like the last few years, it's when I've been of service to other people. It's when I've been able to help other people and like help them realize their goals, help them be the best version of themselves. And I think it's like the satisfaction you get from just being of service to someone is like unparalleled. And I think it's just a feeling I chase a lot of the time, like just wanting to kind of help people help themselves. And I think I would just say that if you do come from a relatively privileged background, you have so much knowledge, information, advice, experience that is extremely valuable to a lot of people. So you as an individual have so much potential to impact others. And I think rather than just being an untapped resource, like use your capital, your information, your knowledge use it to help others, because essentially you're going to feel great. Like even from purely selfish reasons, you're going to feel amazing knowing that you're helping other people. And like the multiplier effects of helping one person is like you don't even know what like long-term impact that's going to have, because it's going to impact their family and it's going to impact their friends, and it's just an amazing feeling. And I think everyone should get involved and just see what it's like for themselves. That's what I'd say.
Definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think I have much to add, but the fact that you touched on how there is so much untapped potential in them, I guess, that they can offer that privileged help. And it's just a general theme across like social justice generally, that you can't just rely on the people who have been through the system to solve it. Like we need people who've kind of gone through the privilege side to then use that and change things up, because otherwise it's not fair, I don't think, on other people, because some people are from disadvantaged backgrounds and they might just feel exhausted from having to then go in and help when other people have got it a lot easier. So yeah, I do think there is a lot of work to it, and again, you can do it for selfish reasons, like Sulaiman mentioned. So
yeah, sorry, my cat has just walked in. Wait, I think she's gonna jump up.
I want to see the cat.
Yeah.
Oh, there she is.
Thank
you.
Okay, distraction gone. What was I saying? Alhamdulillah, we're here at Cambridge, innit? Like we've got this, these experiences, we've got these, institutions that we can share our knowledge and experiences with those who need it and those who do have that potential, as you said, which does go untapped. So definitely, I think it's important that we do get into access work, even if you don't come from an access background. You do still have that knowledge and experience, which is really invaluable to those who need it. But then on the flip side,
sorry, Karen.
No,
I was just gonna say, like, the vibes at access events are also really good. I always have so much fun at them, and also like the free lunch, free desserts. You sometimes get paid for it as well, so there's other little benefits to it too. but it is a fun day out. Like the Access conference, I know a lot of people came up from London for like a day out to Manchester. It was Sulaiman, were you one of them?
Yeah, I did. It was such an amazing day. It was my first time to Manchester, so I got there's a bit of sightseeing as well involved. It was such an amazing day. And I just want to quickly just say, like, I don't think Zainab has like truly expressed how much she's done for like ISoc and for the Access scene, like even beyond ISoc, because I was like the first cohort to come when she kind of began her career, let's say, of Access. And I've seen all that she's done like during her time. And I feel like Access is just such an important issue for the university. And I think she's played a very crucial role in making it such an important issue. And I think the university social media platforms, it's all over, it's everywhere. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's impossible to miss. And I think she's been really critical in making that possible. Yeah.
She's like fellow hair.
Yeah,
I mean, I will argue that it wasn't just it was all the volunteers and everyone else. And my Access committee as well in first year. I wasn't just the only Access officer.
No, I was saying before we started the podcast, anyone, like the scaffolding that Zainab has set up. Like when I say we're rinsing it this year, like we're still benefiting of, her and her Access team. So definitely, Zainab has set a very strong foundation for Access work within the ISoc, which I'm sure the ISoc and many people who do benefit will be very grateful for. I was going to say yes. On the flip side, though, like people do volunteer to do Access work. Then there's a lot of students, like 15, 16-year-olds, who are scared to apply for Cambridge and Oxford and LAC, Imperial, competitive places, who are from Access backgrounds, like BME, low income. What would you guys say? Like, how were your experiences as BME, students at Cambridge compared to what you expected of Cambridge beforehand? How were your perceptions of Cambridge changed, or were they proven true?
Big question.
Yeah, I mean, given that Zainab's done the whole Cambridge, she's completed Cambridge, game over. I think you should speak.
I mean, for me, there was a point, I'll be honest, when I actually got my offer, because I didn't think I was going to get in the first place. And there was a good 2 weeks when I was going back and forth in my head. I was going with my head of year, my teachers, like, should I accept this offer? Like, is this the place for me? Am I going to actually enjoy it there? Am I just going to have an awful time and just burn myself out? And am I going to be good enough? So like the imposter syndrome that a lot of people face, but I was feeling it even before I arrived. And then my mum kind of was like, you've got the offer, don't waste it. And if you don't like it, you can leave. So I went into it thinking that I might hate it, I might have to leave. First year, I think I didn't really get out much. I wasn't really involved with the ISoc as much as I was in second and third year. I think Access really helped that. So I think first year for me was quite tough in navigating like those academic spaces, because I felt like I had to prove myself almost double, because I was from a working class background and from a school that wasn't really very academic. And there were times where I'd sit in a supervision and like the students were from private schools and they'd start speaking Latin and I'd just be sat there like, I have no idea what's going on. And I left supervisions in first year more times than I'd like to admit, crying because of that fear and this isn't the place for me. But I think the more I then branched out and started getting involved with ISoc, started getting involved with like BME spaces, PACSoc, BanglaSoc, it just felt better. And like Newnham, alhamdulillah, like I had my Newnham sisters. There's probably kind of notorious at the first Newnham girls. There were 5 of us in the year group, and it was just so nice. 5 Muslim girls, they kind of just became my sisters, as cringy as that sounds. But having them as like your support network, that I'm not the only person of color here. I'm not the only hijabi. Yeah, I'm in a lecture room full of 200 people. I'm probably one of the only people of color. But then I can come back to my college and come back to my room and we can like eat dal together. Like it's just a little thing like that. And I think when you reach out to those spaces, because they are there, you're not going to be the only one. You just kind of have to take that step to then meet other people like you, and it almost becomes a home away from home. Like ISoc for me was that, especially in second and third year, when things got hard, when it got to week 5 and you're like, what is going on? just coming back to like that familiarity. And now graduated, I miss it so much, even though I'm enjoying graduate life. Like obviously lockdown has been difficult for everyone. I hadn't really seen people. So I do miss having that kind of community around me, from not just people from my own background, but people from a range of backgrounds, ethnicities, languages, countries. And that diversity, I guess, was really, really enriching. And yeah, it's something I do. I'm very grateful for, and I do miss a lot.
Yeah, in terms of my experience, I would really echo what Zainab has said, and the way that she spoke about her Newnham sisters. I would say, like, I'd agree that as soon as you meet the right people, or like people that you click with, everything about your university experience changes. You just feel a lot more comfortable, you feel a lot more at ease, you feel a lot more balanced. And I think that's, I mean, if you ask nearly anyone who's graduated from uni, like, what was the best thing about university? What did you like what was the best thing about uni? Nearly all of them would say the people. And I think even though I haven't graduated yet, I know that's going to be my answer too. It's just the people that you meet at university is the reason why you should come to university. And given the fact that universities like Oxbridge and other top universities are so diverse in terms of, from an international perspective, from a subject perspective, given that it's quite diverse in that sense, it makes it even more enjoyable. And one thing I would say to like my first year self, who was quite anxious about changing who I was, I remember coming into first year thinking, I don't want to change. I don't want to conform. I need to stay true to my identity. I think what I would tell that person is that there's a difference between conforming and evolving. And I think we should really encourage ourselves to evolve and to be confident in meeting new people at your own pace, and just try to have a relatively open mind, because you might meet someone from a completely different background and end up having so much common ground because of your shared values about, I don't know, access work, for example. There are so many people that are really passionate about access work or climate change or whatever. And just because of that common value, you end up being the best of friends. So yeah, university is an amazing experience. Of course, it comes with its challenges, but I recommend it to everyone, or a lot of people. Yeah.
Especially moving out, like a lot of people, they tend to just apply for like London universities or their universities because they don't want to move away. But I think moving out is it's a serious experience. Like you meet people from all over the world. I'm not saying you won't like home universities, like when you live in residence with them, live in halls with them, like it's just so crazy, and it's great to see how, you know, other people, even if they're from across the other side of the world, as Sulaiman said, like the values that people hold, they're the same, they're similar, and it's not like ethnicity should be the only ground that you look for when looking for friends. Like, look for like-minded people as well. It doesn't, ethnicity is not the defining factor. Even though it's nice, you know, as Zainab mentioned, to have some curry, you know, with your. Of course, I'm not saying that's not a good thing, but definitely, you know, don't be shy, just go for it. And you know, 99% of people say that they love uni, and I would probably be the 1% now because of the workload. But I'm sure in a few weeks, you know, I'll look back on it, look back on this term in a few years, look back on my time at Cambridge fondly, hopefully. But yeah, I wanted to end on a bit more of an Islamic note, seeing as we are an Islamic society. So I was wanted to talk about how strongly your Islamic values align with your access work. You know, what is your Islamic motivation behind it? You know, if I've worded that correctly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think I wouldn't be doing it if I wasn't Muslim. I think when you have faith, you have like this wider kind of purpose in your life. Everything needs to fit that value. And access work isn't like a lot of social justice, social opportunities because it's quite a slow burn sometimes, like Sulaiman was saying, in terms of like having that face-to-face conversation, but sometimes it is over the course of a couple of years. Like my impact might be the grassroots that I've done at sorting out the notes and organization for ISoc, and that will then have an impact in the future. You don't often see, unless someone then gets an offer, you don't really often see the immediate reward. And I think because of that, like, you have to have faith in this higher purpose, and that you're doing it with the right intentions. So for me, I definitely went into it that I want to help, like Sulaiman, I want to help people, and maybe this is my way of giving back to my community and making life just a little bit easier for some people, so that they can then reap the rewards of this life and then inshallah the next life. And I think that's just something I try and take to everything that I do, not just access work, that there's this overarching control, like Allah has control, but then we're kind of tasked with a responsibility that we have to then do our absolute best to make society a better place for justice and things like that. Yeah, I don't know how people without faith keep the motivation, I'll be honest, but
yeah, I think Zainab has summarized it really well for me as well. What I would add is there's the saying in Islam, I'm not sure if it comes from a hadith or just comes from like someone of knowledge, that that the kind of the Muslim community, or just the human community, is like one body, right? And then when one part of the body is in pain, then the entire body is in pain. And I feel like, yeah, in order to kind of create a more peaceful, loving, compassionate, prosperous world, it's important that there is equality of opportunity. There is like there is stability across society, and I think, yeah, just helping to ease one individual or one household's pain or struggle is like a massive achievement, and I think that's something that me and my team strive to achieve with the work that we do.
and I definitely found like being involved with access work and like with the ISoc has definitely strengthened like my faith. It's kind of been like this reinforcing cycle that, you know, you have like, it increases your faith when you see brothers and sisters and volunteers like all rushing to then help people. Like there's so much love like within this society, and all of that stuff just definitely strengthens your faith and kind of strengthens the reasons as to why you're doing it. And then you take that. I definitely think I've taken more than I've ever given back from like access work. But
yeah, it just relates back to that basic Islamic principle, you know, just be kind, you know, be nice. And that's what it boils down to, just be a nice person, do things for your brother, do things for your sister in Islam, and, you know, not necessarily have to be Muslim, of course, and do nice things for everyone. So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to talk about today. Jazakallah khair to you both for coming on. It's been very, very insightful to listen to your insights. Yeah, just keep up to date with what Team Upside is doing. They're doing some great work. Do you want to plug your social?
Rahat, can I say one thing quickly?
Go ahead.
So I want to just big up the legacy projects. I want to big up Into Law. I want to big up, there are some other more well-established organizations like Rare Recruitment, Social Mobility Foundation, Upreach. I mean, there's a lot of different organizations doing amazing work right now. So yeah, just wanted to quickly give them a quick shout out as well. Yeah.
No, I was about to say, you know, follow Team Upside, do keep up to date with their work. Keep up to date with the Cambridge ISoc works as well. We've got a mock interview day coming up on the 14th of November. So if you're a prospective student, you know, year 13 or 12 even, and just year 13, because you had to have submitted your Cambridge application, do sign up for that. You can find the link on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's all there. And other than that, that's all the plugging done. And it's just Salamu Alaikum. You know, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. See you guys around.
Jazakallah for having me, making me feel like I'm part of ISoc still.
Yeah, thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Assalamu Alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam.